Within the offices of Sega lies a studio that's been active for 35 years. Sonic Team. The team has created some of the most creative and popular IP the industry has ever seen, from the smash hit Sonic the Hedgehog to more cult classics like Choo Choo Rocket or Space Channel 5. Their impact on the industry is fact, and despite dark periods for the studio, its teams have held strong and have recently been growing in numbers and successes. However, Sonic Team's history is only half focused on, and the name of the studio isn't really properly reflective of what the team creates nowadays. In 1998, the Sonic Team logo was attached to the projects the developers were working on. Now, it's only reserved for just Sonic-centric titles. This treatment is only exclusive to Sonic Team, as its sibling studio, RGG, attaches its name to almost everything coming out of the department. So today, let's take a look at Sega Second Development Division. The real Sonic Team. To understand what 2020's Sonic Team actually is, we need to go over a few things. What was Sonic Team before the quick succession of restructures? Who and what is Second Development Division within Sega? Its relationship to Sonic Team, and some of the staff who operate both versions of the studio. Throughout the years from 1990, Sonic Team's role would change in levels of importance. The era that could be argued they were most influential and most important was when they established Sonic Team Limited. This came from Sega splitting their development studios into separate companies. After a few years working on games like Sonic Adventure 2 and Phantasy Star Online, it was clear that Sonic Team was the most successful out of this initiative. When Noguchi became president of Sega, he ordered the merger of several studios. And one of what would be a trend of teams merging into Sonic Team would begin. As Untitled Artist, the creators of Space Channel 5, Sega Rally 2 and Rez, were merged into Sonic Team upon request of Noguchi. Let's fast forward to the modern era. Sega's Second Development Division is located within the main headquarters of Sega inside the Asaki Garden Tower in Tokyo. It was founded in 2021 after internal restructures over a few years saw several teams merge. Between 2009 and 2017, there was 3 main development studios: CS1, CS2, and CS3. CS1 represented the home of RGD Studios, which had developed the games like Yakuza, Binary Domain, and Super Monkey Ball. CS2 represented the home of Sonic Team, which had also been attached to Sega Studio USA in the Sega Sports Research and Development Department. CS3 was the home of Hatsune Miku games, the Valkyria Chronicles series, as well as that Kinect horror game called Rise of Nightmares. But eventually restructuring began, which led to CS3 being absorbed into both CS1 and CS2. Sonic Team found themselves with an influx of developers from titles like Valkyria Chronicles and the Hatsune Miku series being brought under their umbrella. Hiroyuki Abe, a motion support member for Valkyria Chronicles 4 and a game designer for Hatsune Miku Project Mirai, and an event animation director for Catherine Full Body, would later work with Sonic Team on character animations for Sonic Lost World, Sonic Forces, and Sonic Frontiers. Despite still working with Sonic Team as a title design manager on Sonic X Shadow Generations, he's actually moved on to a lead motion designer on the Game of the Year nominee Metaphori Fantasio at Studio Zero. Tatsuhiro Oshii had a long history within Sega. He was a programmer for Valkyria Chronicles, Skies of Arcadia, the classic Sakura Wars titles, as well as an event role on Shinobi from 2002. They joined Sega programming Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, Sakura Wars 2019, Frontiers, and Sonic X Shadow Generations. Ryosuke Nakuchi was a programmer for Hatsune Miku Project Diva F Second and Diva X as a technical supporter role for Valkyria Chronicles 4. They would join Sonic Team to work on Sakura Wars, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, Sonic Origins, and Sonic Frontiers. There's many examples of CS3 and later on Sega Sports developers joining Sonic Team after the merger, and the restructuring didn't stop there. As the 2020s were approaching, another internal restructure began. Developers from Sega's businesses in arcades would be brought onto console and smartphone game development. AM1, the team behind the Code of Joker, My and Wonderland Wars series, who had been merged into AM3 beforehand, which worked on the initial D-Racing games, would be merged into Sonic Team. Almost the entire RPG division at Sega now resides within Second Development Division. AM1 is composed of many franchises. They were the main developer behind the old Sakura Wars titles, the House of the Dead series, Chain Chronicles, and of course, Skies of Arcadia. AM1's merger into Sonic Team infused it with a lot of talent, and many developers from those projects would later work on recent Sonic titles as well as the Sakura Wars reboot. During this period, Sega would change their terminology for their internal studios. J&A Studio would be the new classification, meaning Japan and Asia Studio. For example, Japan and Asia Studio, or J&A Studio 1, is what would originally be Sega CS1, the home of RGG Studio. The Sonic Team, their classification had now changed to J&A Studio 2, which had now been filled with members from Sega CS2 and CS3. Despite the increase in staff, another restructure would happen which added even more, as J&A Studio 5, 1 and 2 would be added. These teams were behind WCCF, Sega World Drivers Championship, and a slew of many arcade titles. Sonic Team now consisted of developers from many different genres of games, from platformers, card battling, racing, shooting, and RPGs. The bucket loads of experience and diversity in the team had only been matched from the late 90s and early 2000s. And all of this is headed by a man called Asuma Oshii. Division 2's equivalent to Division 1's famous Masayoshi Yokoyama. Ohashi began his career as an art assistant from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in 1994, before being a planner on the Pro Soccer Club games for Sega Saturn. Since then, he's been a key member of what we know as Division 2, operating the role of either chief producer and producer on titles from the Sonic, Puyo Puyo, Sakura Wars, Valkyria Chronicles, Hatsune Miku franchises, as well as outside projects like Metaphor Fantasio, the Sega Ages lineage, Shenmue 1 and 2, Tembo the Badass Elephant, The Cave by Double Fine, Hell Yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit, and much more. While Takashi Iizuka mainly manages the Sonic-related projects, it's Ohashi that runs Sega Division 2 as a whole. His role in this studio is incredibly important, and he's been the first to offer us a glimpse into the future of Sonic Team and Division 2. In episode 9 of Sega's recruitment interview series, Asuma Oshii and Sonic Frontiers producer and deputy general manager at Second Development Division, Tamura Tachiko, talked about the responsibilities of the studio. While many have focused on Hashi's comments about surpassing Mario, there's something so much more important featured in the interview. Included in the introduction was this line: "In addition to Sonic, they are also trying to create a second Sonic by rebooting Sega's past popular IPs." Ohashi would be asked about the characteristics of Sonic Team and Second Division, and he'd add, "Another important mission of the Second Business Division is the legendary IP strategy to revive hit IP from the past. We will create the second Sonic by utilizing the know-how that made Sonic a global hit." He'd later add on to this, being asked about the goals that were for the division. "Of course, I want to strengthen the Sonic IP, but I also want to make the team capable of mass-producing hit titles that will follow from Sonic. I want to incorporate the know-how that was made Sonic into a hit around the world and put it into a repeatable framework and develop other characters into IP that can be used around the world." That's right. While Sega Division 3 are in charge of Jet Set Radio and Sapporo Studio are working on Crazy Taxi, Sega Division 2 and Sonic Team have been given the task by Sega's upper management to take charge in reviving their long-dormant IP. We've seen Sonic Team do this already internally with the Sakura Wars reboot or Samba De Amigo Party Central, but those were part of a bigger internal project within the studio, and we already know what's next. Sonic Team is supervising development of Shinobi Art of Vengeance with Lizard Cube, Streets of Rage Revolution with Komi Games, and Golden Axe with a currently unknown studio. Job listings referred to Streets of Rage Revolution are found on Sega's Second Division section of their careers page, with the banner including Golden Axe, Shinobi, and even Puyo Puyo. If you want concrete proof, Shinobi Art of Vengeance's chief producer, Toru Ohara, is a part of 2nd Division, acting as a creative producer on Puyo Puyo Puzzle Pop, Samba De Amigo Party Central, and Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Team is now supervising several revival projects, and it isn't limited to just IP they created, but franchises across Sega's history. Take a step back and compare where Sonic Team was during the mid-2000s to now, and the significance of their studio is so much more higher. Sonic Team has a new goal: to grow Sega's IP to the level of Sonic. And it begins with these 3 franchises that held the same love and respect as Sonic did during the Mega Drive era. It's no small role. It's a significant task to be given. Sonic Team is so much more bigger than just Sonic, and if you include the IP that the team has created and inherited, it's a studio holding IP that time and time again has defined the industry. That's why I believe the presentation of Sonic Team should change. That logo, that name, should appear on more than just Sonic titles. It needs a new subtitle too. My suggestion? Sonic Team 2nd Development Division. The creators of Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo, Sakura Wars, Samba De Amigo, Valkyria Chronicles, SEGA World Drivers, Initial D, and much, much more. The inheritors of everything SEGA. I'll leave you with this. Hot off the heels of the Power Surge reveal at the Game Awards of 2023, the new SEGA of Europe and America CEO and co-chief operating officer Shuji Itsumi credited the Sonic franchise for the door to open for older SEGA IP to return. He said, "In recent years, Sonic the Hedgehog has forged new paths for SEGA, bringing the franchise to life and reaching new audiences in ways we could only dream of in the past. But building off the success, we are digging into our legacy and reimagining several franchises to bring these games to more audiences around the globe." This is Sonic Team's new goal, their new mission statement: to replicate the success of Sonic, but with its dormant IP. And Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe are the next wave to make this initiative work. This is the 2nd Development Division, the studio that honors the past and modernizes it for the next generation. This is the real Sonic Team. I can feel